Computer Whiz. This is the original stems mix session. There is another session we'll get onto very soon, which has all of the original sequence and multi-track detail, but this one has just been mixed out as stems sometime in 2010 because I was probably running out of CPU. Also, it helps to commit some decisions to stems to then do the mix later on. I definitely got stuck in this tune, getting it all working together, so this one's just been mixed out to multi-track stems as 24-bit in 2010, and then mixed in this way. Mostly because of all the vocoder tracks and all the vocoder channels. If we commit them to
but here's a computer whiz whose head won't fit inside a box.
If we commit these to WAV files, we're going to have a less of decision making to try to get the tune working together. So yeah, it was mixed out from the next session, which I will open up. Not too much to describe from this mix session. It will just be mostly volume settings, EQ, if anything, some group channels, amp simulator. These are all broken down in the spreadsheet, which is in the National Library's New Zealand music collection for this song. Yeah, a lot of just straight tracks, but then probably we ended up having a lot of problems with the vocal, so you can see that vocal channel has quite a lot of stuff on it, and then maybe the drum track's got a bit of ozone and a bit of compression on it. So yeah, the old maximizer UR shock showing up, G-clip. So yeah, this was the last step on Computer Whiz, but a very short step to get the song working together. So the mix on the multi-track session, which I'll open now, which was the writing session, will be a bit different, but we've had more to discuss from there. Okay, Computer Whiz for real. This part, there's like an 80s cliche, kind of a children's sort of TV show cliche of this kind of Baroque music done on synths. I don't know where it's from, but there's this pedal note. Let me just delete these for a second. This kind of arpeggio. This thing, that was the original idea. I'd started a lot of songs with this kind of Baroque harpsichord patch, which is just a single square wave with a short duty cycle. I'm assuming, yes, short pulse width to give you this kind of almost Casio VL1 style harpsichord patch, and then this low sort of addition of the bass on the bottom. But the kicker there is on the off eighths, there's this C note. So it does sort of pivot around that C note. It goes dun 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 dun, has a kind of pivot sound to it, which is in my mind quite Baroque, but using this sort of Baroque baby Mozart, Bach, whatever it is, cliche for to stand in for genius, but quote unquote genius. It's a little bit self-mocking, this song, and it was inspired by the time I fixed my sister's Wi-Fi and she called me a real computer whiz. The actual name of the album was going to be Computer Whiz, but then Charisma came up as one of the last tunes, and it seemed to fit more with the previous song title for Visions, being a kind of more, if you're familiar with Pet Shop Boys, have a lot of single-word titles, which are very effective, so working in that vein. We'll reconnect the vocoder carriers because they aren't connected. So all these, there's the single vocoder carrier channel of MIDI doing the probably long legato notes. You can hear the words will be very eighths, sixteenths, da 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 da. But the vocoder channel is legato because the eventual amplitude of the whole thing is governed by the modulator wave, not the carrier wave. So we don't need to split up these notes.
Time. It passes all the time. It goes in ticks and talks. But here is a computer whiz whose head won't fit inside a box. You're staring at a box.
So there's a straight vocal underneath.
Time. It passes all the time.
And it's auto-tuned and distorted through G-Clip and Decimort. It's like a digital clipper and a bit depth reducer. So on top of that is the vocoders, which is one MIDI channel with that long legato, as I've described. These long notes that aren't splitting up the words.
Time.
And that is going out to Vocoder 1's DC vocoder, the Akai plugin, in all its glory, in all its semi-Comic Sans glory. Great font, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And the other one is Voco, that's just that synth edit for VST. So yeah, one MIDI channel going out to two inserts on vocoder 1 and 2, and then the straight up vocals.
Time. It passes all the time.
So the vocals are in the scheme of the rest of the song and the rest of the album, melding the machine and the sequence and the computer timing and the mechanical parts in a very classic synth pop 80s, new wave way, but being a bit more lighthearted about it. It's the recipe.
Living in your head. You'll never go to bed. You'll engineer the future in a way that's gonna suit you now. So you better show them how.
In contrast to other tunes on the album, such as Electric Ecstasy and Drop the Bomb that we've heard, we've got a long vocal section of using this device where some of the ends of the last word are actually the beginnings of the next. The ends of the last line are the beginnings of the next word. We'll find a good example of that in due course. And then so this kind of longer, more word listy type section of vocal, then a climb to the chorus, and then an instrumental break. Then we're back down to the same first section. Here is the same as here. Then another chorus, and then instrumental break, verse, chorus, instrumental break, and then another little chorus, which is a bit more energetic than the last 2, 3, however many chori there are.
I'm living in your head. Sometimes this life does not compute. Sometimes you feel like a cool dude, but have no fear you're a computer whiz. This world is not read-only. Call yourself your...
This is, I think, me channeling a little bit of, it's Devo, but it's also the Weird Al Yankovic Devo pastiche from the Transformers soundtrack, Dare to Be Stupid. This kind of like really wacky. Sometimes this life does not compute. This kind of like trying to shoehorn computer terminology into a lyric. And then in the choruses, there is actually a Fruity Loops.
Sometimes this life does not compute.
Fruity Loops speech synthesizer, which is every word that changes or every note that changes requires a new WAV file to be exported and then chopped up in Nuendo.
Sometimes this life does not compute. Sometimes you don't feel like a cool dude. Don't have no clue you computers. This world is not read only. But yourself you know feel lonely. This world was made of a computer.
So, through a lot of lo-fi effects, it's probably close.
Sometimes this life does not compute. Sometimes you don't feel like a cool dude, but have no fear you computer with.
A lot of bad edits, a lot of clicks, a lot of jumps, a lot of non-zero crossing edits, but that is fine because it's sounding more computery because of it. And then the same on Analog X Say It. If we turn on the vocoder carrier and engage it, which we have not done yet. Analog X Say It, voco, okay. So this one sounds a little bit more kind of Devon, Welsh, Irish.
Sometimes these lives are not good. Sometimes you can feel like you're good, but have no feeling of me. This world is not very cozy. Why have you never feeling cozy? This world was made for nothing.
So, yeah. Also, we have the Commodore 64 text-to-speech SAM. Home. Flux. Sleep. So that is a kind of punch-in vocal to accentuate the human vocal from me. It pauses all the time. It goes and ticks and talks. Here is a computer whiz. Here one fan inside a box. As this box. You're living in a box. Instead of living your head, you'll never go to bed. You're enjoying the future in the way it's going to suit you. Now. There is no now there. Because we are missing that file for some reason. Anyway, doesn't really matter in the scheme of things.
Now, so you better show them how.
The actual subject matter of the song is kind of like a bit idiosyncratic to me now, given the damage that computer nerds have done to the arts and everything else lately, and the interruption of musicians from platforms. I have much to say on that respect, but you get my drift. It's kind of that Revenge of the Nerds plot line. And there is stuff about, it's got stuff about anti-jocks and still appropriate anti-cops.
No money. This time is so boring.
Home at 2 in the morning, this town is so boring. Suburbia, it seems so far by hybrid car to the big smoke. The more amenable kind of plot line in there is that there's, and it was something that I grew up with. Starting out, there was a lot of people online on internet relay chat who taught me a lot about music and taught me a lot about computer stuff, coding and synthesis and all this sort of thing. So it's like the idea that there are a whole bunch of disparate people of all kinds sort of living this suburban existence with computers sort of elevating something sort of banal in my life that I've experienced into this kind of fantastic scenario. And we missed the guitar lick, which I love, and it's probably not going to be perfect, but yeah. So we were going verse, chorus, verse. We were going verse, chorus, break. So this guitar tone, this like guitar solo, this lick, this first part here, is definitely from the book of like Thomas Dolby. And this kind of pull up 2 frets. Doing the bend, this kind of blues lick. And also the Maniac Mansion soundtrack with Dave's theme has this kind of cool like pulse wave as guitars thing that really got stuck with me. That just this one tune from the Maniac Mansion soundtrack. I don't choose my path, it chose me.
It seems so far by hybrid car to the big smoke. Rising from the flux, smelling hot and sweet.
And this, that's right, this harpsichord track is called Memories. And for me, whatever this Baroque like figure that I'm using is like really It could be because the first synth record I remember hearing, and vividly remember hearing my dad holding me up as like a 6-year-old kid watching Wendy Carlos's Switched on Bach. Maybe Bach and kind of this people with strange obsessions doing stuff with electronic music is some really deeply linked memory with me musically. Bassline straight up, octave stuff. And then probably some bit more stop-start stuff in the verses.
This town is so boring. Suburbia seems so far my hybrid car to the big smoke. Rising from the flux, smelling hot and sweet. The coffee cups are stacking up, you're cracking up, now get some sleep. But even in your dreams, the vivid color schemes, white, magenta, and cyan, orange, and black and green.
White, magenta, orange. What is it? What is this?
White, magenta, and cyan.
White, magenta, and cyan, orange, black and green. It's about the monochromatic computer monitors of the like early DOS, early Windows systems, which would only be generally your XT 286 might be green and black or white and black. Occasionally, a lot of more annoying screens were like orange and black.
White, magenta, and cyan, orange, and black and green.
White, magenta, cyan. I missed maybe that's the CGA color graphics array palette by default, the 4-color one.
White, magenta, and cyan, orange, and black and green. And you get more caffeine. You read a magazine. Now you're nearly waking up, you're taking up the challenge. These big pictures are a barcode. You read it on ones and zeros. Number 1, not 0, the computer whiz.
These picket fences are a barcode. You read them all in ones and zeros. Number 1, not 0, the computer whiz. Like it's a deterministic lyric that was completely sitting there that I had to use because, does what it says on the tin. We've got these little also effects that I've called boosh. So probably, I think that's C3FX Rain is Yamaha Porter Sound Rain preset. Simmons SDF S5 toms maybe. And then Atari Boom, Synth 1 Calculator. There's all these sound effects layers, as per many other songs on the record. This kind of zippered pitch table effect that you might hear on a Atari 2600 explosion effect. Then this, what is this? So that's a really quick arpeggiator accentuating the last chord on Whiz. Solo again, and then a weird ring mod thing, I think. By my calculations, that's a really nerdy sound effect. That's right. Then the whole tune steps up a bit with this FM PPG-esque patch, which is FM7 doing it looks like something from a esoteric SysX DX7 SysX file from a random zip file that I got. So FM7 can import Yamaha DX7 SysX and you get the same algorithms, same routing, and you get the patches in a digital format. So this low bass, kind of Thomas Dolby, Tangerine Dreamy.
Access randomly, extended memory. They are all a bunch of dicks. Their dirty tricks will get you down, but in some other town.
Yeah, I do wonder at what point the kind of Revenge of the Nerds, sort of like the stories of sort of nerd liberation were a preface for a more kind of toxic view of people in hierarchies in the information age, but that's probably for another album.
So access randomly. Extended memory. They are all a bunch of dicks. Their dirty tricks won't get you down. But in some other town, there are cute toes. But the problem is suburbia is just a big black hole. And it's out of your control. And it's eating at your soul. And you know it freaks you out, so you better get the heck out. The computer is ready.
That was originally a swear word and I punched it out.
So you
I changed the F word to heck because it's much more impactful to say heck than the F word.
So you better get the heck out. The computer is ready. Computer was ready. Hey.
So there's this kind of equivalence between computer is ready and the computer says yes. And then there's a sample of me through the same effects channel that I use to embody the computer's voice saying yes. I say back to myself. Just a little bit of narcissistic trivia for you.
Computer is ready. Yes. Computer was ready. As your fingers twitch, you flick the switch and then you realize Trevor Button is engaged with a new age. The future's bright, everything is beige. Put on your shades, your computer Whiz. Living life like it's in full screen. Which tries to put away the sunscreen. You're not just playing like computer Whiz.
I think rhyming full screen with sunscreen was actually a genius, one of the more genius lyrics on the record for the record. And then a nice little extended answer version of the solo. That's right. And then kind of ending with these 4 snare rolls as if the whole tune could kind of re-loop again, but back to that original. You don't even notice it. The idea that we recapitulate the intro very quickly and you kind of turn it into this sort of eternal reoccurrence. Anything else we can say about Computer Whiz? There's some pad layers. This brass layer. That's right. Yeah, there's a whole background of fanfare in this. The choruses especially. And the second chord is kind of tweaked on that strings patch. It's kind of a different voicing of the chord. But I liked the contrast for not hitting that. If that's the root of the next chord, whatever it is, it's kind of stacked up. They're saying F diminished flat 9, but it's whatever it is. This chord has a kind of electric quality to it. But yeah, definitely this wave station brass. This. Very Thomas Dolby. That's called Poly 6.
This world is not read only. By yourself, you're never feeling lonely. This world was made for the computer Whiz.
Yeah, so that's Computer Whiz.